Okay, I want to show you how to create a custom brush in Photoshop. So I've got Photoshop open and I just did a quick Google search and I found a picture of an ant. So I've copied this picture and then I've gone into Photoshop and I have pulled it up, and what you'll see is that it's going to copy it the same size as the pixels that were on the original on the web. Um, so before I do anything, I want to go in and make that a size that's going to work for me. So I'm going to click on image and I'm going to go to, uh, image size. And then when I click on image size, it's going to bring up this information about that picture. You can see that picture is 10 inches wide by 5 inches high. So that's a pretty big picture. I can also switch this to percents, pixels, centimeters, millimeters. Um, so in this case, I'm going to stick with inches for myself, but I want to make it much smaller. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click or double click on that width, and I'm going to adjust that down so it is 1 inch. Notice that it automatically changed the height for me, and that's because it's got this little link between the two of those. If I wanted to stretch it or distort it somehow, I could click on that and unlink those, and then I could make it any kind of shape that I want. But if it's doing that without you wanting it to, just make sure that you click there to have it linked together, and then you won't get any distortion. I click OK, and it's going to make that adjustment, and now it's smaller. Okay, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, it's hard to see. So remember, Control Plus will bring it back in so that I can see it. Oh, and it got really pixelized when I did that. So I'm not going to stop now, but we could figure out why that happened. It probably had to do with the resolution and how much I was crunching it down there. But it's much smaller now. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select it. So I'm going to go select, and I could go select all, and I'll get my marching ants around that. Or I could go over here to my lasso tool, and I could just, oh, I'm sorry, going to select, deselect, and I'm going to do this again with my lasso tool. And I could just draw a line a little closer around my ant so that I don't get as much of this big empty space every time I make an ant mark. I also want to look at my foreground and background color. And what you'll notice here is that it looks kind of gray, okay, instead of the black that it was, because I've done some things since I last made a brush or did a video. Down below that, here's my little restore button. And if I click on that, I'm going to get that black and white back. And that's going to ensure that everything that happens here is going to function as a true version of what's there from my brush. So I'm going to stop there. And then now I'm going to do a couple of things to create a brush. So I selected my image. Now I'm going up to where it says edit. And then about halfway down, maybe a little bit further, you see this where it says define brush preset. If I click on that, it's going to take a picture of anything that's selected, and it's going to make a brush out of that. So right now it's called sampled brush one. I'm going to call it ant brush, and I'm going to click OK. And now I've made a brush that looks like an ant. So if I click, oh, let's select all. But if I click over here, it's going to make another ant. Click there, it's going to make another ant, and so on and so forth. So I've got a brush that looks like an ant. You can find any picture and turn it into a brush.